that question. I brought that point up last Sunday morning, that some people go down, they come here, and for whatever reason, you're coming through that door, you don't know. Right. Some coming to find a mate. Right. Some coming just to check out the church to see what's going on. Whatever reason, other than to meet Christ. But when they sit here, and sometimes the music gets to them, if they're in a certain church where they like this kind of music they're singing, but they go down front, people are singing, and they get excited, go down front, and the question is asked, do you believe that Christ is the Son of God? And they say, well, that confession. And they baptize the person. And I've watched it happen in the church we came from. People they come down, and you don't see them again until maybe the next year, and they come back. You don't see a change. When they go down front and confessing, it's the same thing they've done before. I wonder if they are like that child. You say yes to that question, but do you know that question? That's the very foundation of your faith. Do you really understand what you say? They're taught, but they don't come back consistent enough to be taught. So I just wonder if that's a better way to...
I think it's up to whatever, if the leadership of that particular church subscribes to that particular thought. I don't. I hope we don't. I just don't believe in a child being baptized at a very young age. I just
right.
And like I said, I baptized quite a few people.
I'm not saying the child, but I'm saying the person who comes down without being fully knowing he's answering it, what question he's answering. He's like a child at that point because he doesn't really know the import of that question. You're saying yes because I want to become a part of this church, but I know somebody here, and I'm following my friend. But that's a very important question. So that's almost like a childlike response to saying yes to something you don't really understand.
Yeah, I believe that there are three parts to what we would call the conversion process. If you look at Matthew, to answer your question, let's look at Matthew. You can turn there quickly or you can just listen to me talk. Matthew 28 gives us sort of, in my opinion, a threefold response to that. Matthew 28, starting at verse 19, says, "Go ye therefore and teach." See that?
Mm-hmm.
Teach all nations. The result of teaching is what? Baptizing them in the authority, the onome. The onome of, then he breaks it down, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Right? Ice to onomatai. But then he says, once you teach them and baptize them, there's a third element.
Mm-hmm.
You see the next thing?
Mm-hmm.
Teaching them. But you just taught them. No, you teach them some more. Teaching them all things whatsoever I've commanded you.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's teaching, which leads to baptism, hopefully, which leads to more teaching. We dropped the ball at the secondary teaching. Mm-hmm. We dropped the ball because we'll teach, baptize, and celebrate. I said, how many of you would have a child you taught one time and then you leave them alone for the rest of their life?
Mm-hmm.
That's what we do spiritually,
Mm-hmm.
if we're not careful. So I think it's threefold, and I think it's ongoing. That third teaching, lifelong. You're never going to end that. It's always going to be. You're going to be a student from that day forward. So that hopefully answers your question. Let's flip back over to Philippians. All right? A couple of things I want to get before we get out of here. He says in verse 4, rejoice in the Lord. I said this morning, that word rejoice is a very beautiful word. It literally means to leap like a lamb. How many of y'all jumping like a lamb today? and it's really, it's a continual imperative, which calls for a lifestyle which, watch this, emanates from an active choice of our will, regardless of circumstances. We have to have this continual rejoicing. Think about that. It doesn't matter what you're going through, God commands that you keep on rejoicing. Wow, that's tough. Because I know we got some circumstances that make us not want to rejoice, right? But it's a command. It's a command. And then it says, because God will work with us to energize us to carry out this command. And that's the beautiful thing about it. You're not doing this on your own. God will give you the energy to do it. But he requires that you stay focused on him. That's the difference. You can't do it by yourself. You can't do it by yourself. It requires God to do that with you. Really, there's a word he uses here, sunergo. Sunergo is where we get our word synergy. Synergy means to bring things together. God is working with us so that we can rejoice. That's really what he's saying. He's saying, even though you have problems, I'm going to work with you so that you can rejoice. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Rejoicing then involves a physical expression of joy, and sometimes that radiates from within to people around you. Now, I know that's going to be a hard one for some of us. We got to radiate this thing. Let me give you a couple of examples. Turn to Acts chapter 5, verse 41. Somebody else give to me 2 Corinthians chapter 8, verse 2. Acts chapter 5, verse 41 rather. 2 Corinthians 8, 2. If you have it, begin reading.
Then they went out from the presence of the Sanhedrin, rejoicing that they were accounted worthy to be dishonored on behalf of their name.
Wow. Now, if you read up a little bit, I believe it's Peter and John. They just got flogged. They just got finished being whipped for preaching the gospel. The Sanhedrin said, you better stop or we're going to take care of it. They said, well, you got to do what you got to do. We got to do what we got to do. They got whipped. Backs are bleeding. In pain. Bible said they left out there
Because they
for
had
the sake of
victory.
Jesus. Some of us come in here in cushioned seats. Nice air-conditioned cars. And we ain't got a smile on our face. Ever. After all God has done for us. Woo! I can't get a smile from you. My God. But anyway, but that's the point I'm trying to make. They were thankful to God. Why? We got work for Jesus. Can you imagine? I'm happy because I got work for Jesus. That's the kind of joy. See, you can't make that kind of joy up yourself.
Yes, we can.
You know what I'm saying? You know, my mama every night she gave me a whooping. Yeah. I guarantee you I wasn't joyful about that. There was no smiles on my face.
Mine either.
But this man said I got whipped and I got happy right after I got whipped. You know, that's kind of weird. Look at 2 Corinthians chapter 8, verse 2. What does that say?
During a several testing by affliction, their abundance of joy and their deep poverty overflowed into the wealth of their generosity.
Wow, I love that, man. You know what Paul was writing about? You know what church that is? This one. Church. They had, not only were they broke, but the Bible says they were under great affliction. See, being broke is one thing, but being under great affliction when you broke is a whole different thing. Anybody been broke and had deep affliction? But they came rejoicing. How much? Hold on now. Paul, you better come back here. I got to give you some more money. And it wasn't even for their own church. That's the funny thing. For another church. You broke and happy because you was trying to give to somebody else. You got $1.50 to your name and you're trying to give them $1.25 and happy about it. You can't have that kind of joy naturally. That kind of joy only comes from knowing who you serve.
Right.
That's the only thing. And I'm telling you this, not so you can get hit. I'm saying this so you can change your focus. You can start looking at life a little differently. Amen? All right. Yes, sir.
He calls it a true partner in my Bible. In verse 2.
Yeah.
True partner.
That's good. That's
He calls
good.
it a true partner.
That's good. I'm going to take this. Write this down. This is just a small phrase. Joy is less to do with a feeling and more to do with a deep down confidence. Ooh, that's tweetable right there.
Yeah.
Say it again.
Put that on Facebook. Put that on
Say it
t-shirt.
again.
Joy
Joy.
is less to do with the feeling and more to do with a deep down confidence. See, that's joy. Let me give you a bad analogy, but I just wanted this came to mind. If you're going somewhere and you're hungry and you reach in your wallet and you pass this restaurant you really like and you want to get something from this restaurant, right? You really like it. You pass, you're on this side of town, you don't come on this side of town often. But you go into the restaurant and you bring out your wallet, and you look in your wallet, and the plate you want costs $25 and you got $5. But here's where the joy kicks in. You got a credit card.
You have something on it.
You got a credit card. And on that credit card, you know you got about a couple $100 in your bank account. Even though you don't have cash, you can still have joy because you know your confidence is in that credit card. Does that help somebody? Praise the Lord. You got to pay for it. But you got joy because you know the source. See, what you have is a resource. But you know the source is a, I feel like preaching. That's your source. That's your source, man. You don't have it, but you know who does. You know who does? I see a hand in the back.
Yeah, I mean, just even in light of this election, like I just have like friends and people who feel like they're going to be specifically affected by it, but they're also Christian, and I don't know, like, how do you teach, I guess, the joy, because joy comes in with knowing all of your proclivities and the things, your tendencies, but still surrendering those over to God. Like, how do you teach, like, how do you give them that message when you know they're not there, but you also don't want to condone certain things?
Right.
Like, how do you say, like, there's so much more joy in this part of your identity, like, you can surrender that, you can give that away, it's not, there's more to all of this.
Yeah.
This,
Than this 4 years.
yeah, or even just your sexuality, like, there's more, like, you can surrender that, you don't have to, that's not all of who you are.
Well, just to answer the political part, the other part I have to come back and get some clarity now. But as far as the political issue, this right here, this lesson covers just about all that. You don't have to worry, again, we said, you don't have to worry about who's in the White House because you know who's in heaven. And one of the things I worry about Christians is that we have a greater sensitivity to this world
That's right.
than the one above.
Mm-hmm.
And when your sensitivity is so carnal,
Yeah.
then anything that happens to you carnally affects your spiritual.
Mm-hmm.
And so you become weaker.
How do you get someone to understand that? Like,
Right. You have to teach them. You have to teach them. And they have to be willing to be taught. I know some Christian friends that you can tell them certain principles. I can teach this to them right now, and they go right over their head.
Mm-hmm.
They say you're right, and then they put a three letter word up there, B-U-T.
Mm-hmm.
But, and that's all they would cancel everything I'd say, and they say but.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think that's a great question. I just hope that hopefully we can, help them, and maybe you can help them with this lesson. Hope we can help them with this lesson. Look at verse 5. He says, let your moderation, watch this, let your moderation be known to all men. That word literally just means your gentleness. And that's really important because as you said, kind of falls in line with your question. You can be hard and you can take a hard stance as a Christian and say, I don't like this person. I don't like this situation. Or you can say, you know what? God be the glory.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking for God's glory in a bad situation. I am. Maybe God is trying to teach me a lesson. Have you ever thought about that? Maybe God is trying to push us towards Him. Maybe we've ignored Him the last however many years, 80 years. We've allowed our morality to decline in the last few years. Maybe God had to shake us and say, hey, you know what? Now what you know? You thought your power was in your vote.
Hmm.
You never know, you know. Yes, yes.
You know, I feel the pain of a lot of people on whether it's this election or whatever we're going through in life. Because I know they say we all dealt with a measure of faith. And I believe from just growing up, seeing my mother, with she didn't get baptized into the church till later. She's still not worshiping in the church. But I think sometimes it can be learned behavior too. You know, because she had it. You know, she wasn't in the faith. She just kept always hearing. I kept always hearing her say it as if she believed it. And I just looked at it from that standpoint. But I say that to say, whether it's this election, or whether you're losing your house, losing your car, losing your life, you know, when you say what you said a minute ago, I done been there. I done been there looking at 10 houses, going past me, and then a divorce, you know, after that. And I can tell you, I don't know how folks do without God. Okay, because I know I've been through some things that I know only God, I don't look like what I've been through.
That's right.
I mean, and I know you just, and I can only feel the pain of these people going through this. I mean, these folk out on the street doing this. I wanted other women because I wanted to see a woman. I done seen a black man, I wanted to see a woman. I could go see Jesus. You know, that's what it was.
Maybe it's not time for this one. Maybe it's not.
Yeah, another woman. Yeah, maybe it's gonna be another one. So, I mean, I didn't get what I want because I didn't see the woman do it. You know what I'm saying? But I'm just saying, but I knew from, you just reminded me last Sunday. It's like that little warning came before the election came that God sets up kings. I knew that scripture, you know, but I also know Him in a personal way that whatever comes my way or whatever comes in my life,